everybody and welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to take a look at a brand new video where I talk about the best case scenario for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterm elections. This will be an absolutely large wave for the Republicans. And the timestamps for the governors, Senate, and House will be all in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get right into today's video. We're going to start with the Senate elections. And in this wave, I mean a R+5, R+6 environment, so a very Republican-friendly environment. And in this scenario, Democrats will be pretty much blown out. These are only safe states for the Democrats. Again, I'll keep these pretty brief because I know covering all three branches will take a very long time, so I'm going to keep this brief. Alright, so basically, in a best-case scenario for the Republicans, this is what's possible for safe states. Ohio and Florida can both go in the safe column in a R+5 sort of environment. And the Democrats, there will be a few likely Democratic states that are traditionally very safe for the Democrats that will go down to a likely margin, such as Oregon, Washington, Illinois, and Connecticut. And Republicans will be able to sweep basically all the remaining states, Wisconsin, North Carolina, by likely margins. I could even see Georgia being a likely state in this scenario. While for the lean states for the Republicans, that includes the state of Pennsylvania. For the Republicans, actually probably even likely, Arizona likely for the Republicans, and Nevada likely for the Republicans, and Republicans could possibly even win the state of New Hampshire and Colorado. In this scenario, lean for New Hampshire for the Republicans, and Colorado tilts for the Republicans in the state election out of the state of Colorado. Now, if you go to this governor's elections, the Democrats, again, they will still have their safe states, although not really a lot of safe states considering there are unpopular Democrats in California. Andrew Cuomo had to resign in the state of New York, so in the best case scenario, I'm just going to fill in New Jersey and Virginia for their respective parties. In a best case scenario, those states will not be safe for the Democrats. I think Massachusetts, with Charlie Baker not running, that will be safe for the Democrats. Now for the Republicans, they have quite a lot of safe seats, which basically brings them all the way to National Governors Association, with basically their safe states. Let me see, so possibly even Texas in this scenario, so that will end the map at 22 Republicans at this point in time. For the Democrats, their likely states, California, Illinois, New York, Rhode Island, and I think that will be it in this scenario, while the Republicans, their likely states will give them the majority, of course, Iowa, Ohio, and Florida. That's 25 seats for Republicans already, and they're definitely going to pick up more than that. I think they could win in Arizona by a likely margin in this best case scenario, and even the state of Wisconsin, that will be a likely state for the Republicans. A lean state for the Democrats would be the state of Oregon, but really nothing else. Going to the lean Republican states, they can win in a lot of states, Michigan, of course, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, New Mexico, and I think that's it for on the Republican side. While the Democrats could win Colorado, I think Connecticut, that could probably be a long shot, but in this best case scenario, Republicans can actually flip Connecticut. Republicans could also flip Maine. Paul LePage possibly makes this race a lean Republican state, while Minnesota tilts towards the Republicans, giving Republicans at a best case scenario possibly even 36, but I'll go with 35 as the final number. Finally, the House, which needs a little bit more explanation. In the current states I filled in, Republicans have a 25-state advantage. That being said, it is going to expand, considering Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Missouri, and Louisiana, those states, all going to net Republicans quite a few seats, have not done their redistricting, and the only Democrat, basically, state that Democrats are probably going to gain is the state of Rhode Island, as New Hampshire has established a more Republican legislature who is going to make the state 1-1. As you can see, I'm going only basically talk about the states that really matter. Arizona, this is what it looks like. The 4th district barely going to the Democrats. The 1st district being safe Republican. The 2nd and 6th being likely Republican. So the Republicans pick up 2 seats in the state of Arizona. In the state of California, Republicans could basically pick up, they could actually pick up seats in this scenario. They would hold Mike Garcia's state district. They will hold David Vallejo's seat. And they can win California's 13th. They can even unseat Josh Harder. I don't think they're going to unseat Mike Levin, though. They could unseat Katie Potter, possibly. They would also be able to win Young Kim's seat and quite a lot of Republican seats in the state of California. Colorado, I basically flipped 2 seats. One of them is given by redistricting, and the other seat I flipped it from the Democrats, considering the incumbent is not up for re-election. Not running for re-election, Connecticut. In the best case scenario, the Democrats could end up losing 1 congressional district. Republicans could pick up 1 congressional district, although the second, I'd be quite hesitant to say the Republicans pick up that seat. Delaware, Florida, Georgia, basically. Oh, actually, I did not touch Georgia, alright, so in a best case scenario, I still don't think the 2nd district will flip. I think it's basically this map, only 1 competitive district, that being the 2nd district. Hawaii, Idaho, let me see, Indiana, I'm not going to talk about it. Iowa, nothing really there for a 0, but even a not best case scenario for Republicans, the 3rd will probably flip. Kansas, you have 1 Democrat losing re-election, Serene Davids. In a normal, kind of not Republican wave election, she will be able to win re-election. In my current predictions, I still have her losing, but in this strong red wave scenario, yeah, Serene Davids will be losing re-election big. Maryland, nothing real there, likely Republican seat, 2 likely Democratic seats, and then other seats are basically safe for the Democrats. Going to Michigan, yeah, Democrats only hold 4 seats in this scenario in Michigan, as they lose the 3rd, they lose the 4th, they lose the 7th, they lose the 8th, and they lose the 10th. So basically, they lose all the swing state seats and even make the 11th districts somewhat competitive. Minnesota, I do flip Ann-J. Craig's district. I also make Dean Phillips' district a likely district, not a safe district. Let me see, so the state of Montana basically ensured 1 of those districts. Nebraska, this district, Don Bacon would be able to win in this scenario by a likely margin. Nevada's interesting. Democrats gerrymander this map, but it's going to come back and haunt them with a 4-0 delegation in the state of Nevada. New Jersey, basically, Democrats gerrymander the state pretty well. They're in the best case scenario, Republicans will only be able to carry 3 districts. Andy Kim is a pretty good Democrat incumbent in the 3rd district. While these 2 districts, they both outperformed their PVI by quite a significant margin. Going to New Mexico here, this could be a dummy mander for the Democrats. They wanted to gerrymander it. They came up with a dummy mander. The 1st district will still not flip. It's a D+11th district, and in a neutral environment, so in a R+6 environment, it's not going to flip. The 3rd district possibly could flip. The 2nd district, I absolutely think, will flip with a Republican incumbent. New York actually did not fix a few of these districts. Let me do it right now. Alright, so I fixed the districts. In the New York City area, I basically flipped this 1 district. Not flipped this 1 district. It does currently have a Republican incumbent, though it has a heavy Democratic lead. Now, if we look at the Long Island area, so in Long Island, Lee Zeldin, I project, will win another term in this scenario, and the Democrats will have 2 pretty competitive districts in New York City. That being said, in a best case scenario, I still don't think the Republicans flip any of those districts. The 18th district, Sean Manoli probably loses re-election in this scenario. However, in a real general election, not in a best case scenario, I hardly see him losing. Still, one Republican gets drawn out, John Cacto, not running for re-election in 2022. I know he thinks basically that he will lose. He indeed will lose, even if he runs, but making the district a lot closer. Ohio, Oregon. Another interesting state is a 3-3 delegation in this scenario. Peter DeFazio not running for re-election. I still think that district would retain Democrat, but these two districts stay open seat, and Chris Schrader's district, I believe those state districts will flip towards the Republicans. Let me see. So the next state, important state, is the state of Texas. Texas, you basically, there's really just a few competitive seats. The 15th is likely Republican. The 28th is barely tilt Democrat, while the 23rd is safe Republican. Virginia basically flipped Abigail Spanger's district by a lean margin and in the scenario, and Eileen Lurie by a likely margin. Washington, you have this one competitive seat which goes to the Republicans by a lean margin. And that basically does it for today's video. If you just skip towards the end, I don't blame you, because watching me fill in these maps could be pretty boring. So let me recap this entire video. Basically, for the best case scenario for the Senate, for the Republicans, 55-45, this is the map. On the governors, 35-15 for the Republicans, and finally, the House, 155-180 for the Republicans. And thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to drop me a like, drop me a subscription, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. But be sure to click that subscribe button or watch the videos or playlists on your screen right now. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.